So, the conclusion, God has dual characteristics of masculine and feminine, character and form. We can see them in the universe. There's consistency there. Let's look at the second principle. Give and take action. The simple fact is that nothing in the universe lives by itself. Nothing is independent. No baby could ever come into the world without care, nurture, protection. However difficult your life experience has been, all of us are not self-existent or self-reliant. No man is an island. And you can see on every level of human life, relationships, interdependence, and harmony. It's a beautiful expression of the purpose, the loving purpose of the Creator. In all beings and relationships, we can see a relationship between subject and object. Subject suggests initiating, giving. An object suggests responding, reciprocating. And these are not static, because each one gives and receives with the other. That's the interdependence we're talking about. So when we say subject and object relationships, it doesn't mean that one thing is always the boss. For example, between your mind and body, which is the subject? It's basically, there's a basic role, right? The basic role of subject is your mind. But is your mind influenced by your body? Sure it is. There's interdependence. Good health is the best thing at this age, my age. Exercise, swimming every day, very important. Taking care of my body when your body's in bed. So there's an interdependence and a relationship there. When you talk about men and women, the man's nature as protector or initiator is not more important. And any man that doesn't know how to follow his wife when it's important to do so has trouble. And I don't just mean to keep peace. I mean the innate wisdom that women have in relationships and sensitivity. I remember traveling around the country with two women that I worked with, Debbie and Ayako, and going into a community, and we're trying to help them develop the ministry there, right? And after we're done, we're talking, and I'm saying, yeah, really good. It was a good seminar. Everybody understood, and they start telling me all these things that they saw and recognized and felt, and what's really going on. It was like. I began to worship at the altar of women, actually. So this is true between man and woman, giving and receiving, subject and object. It's also true on the individual level between our mind and body. The fact is that nothing can exist without the energy that comes from reciprocal relationship. Nothing can act or move without generating energy through give and take action, mind and body and systems in our body, etc. And certainly nothing can reproduce. Nothing can multiply without reciprocal relationship. This is true on the atomic level, in the universe of the atom, as Max Planck said, the solar system of the atom, the relationship between plus and minus, proton and electron. It's true on the macro level as well, in our solar system, where you have 8 planets in harmony. Used to be 9, but Pluto got demoted. Let's have 3 seconds of silence for Pluto. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Yeah. Now, because all of them are in harmony with the higher center, that's why they have harmony with each other. That's why they don't crash into one another. If we look in the natural world, we see so many examples of interdependence and reciprocity. I lived in Africa for 2 years. I visited the Zambezi River often, one of my favorite places. And I saw little tick birds floating down. I saw crocodiles floating down the Zambezi River in the middle of the day with their mouths open, and tick birds would come inside and give dental work. But to the tick bird, it was lunch. And no, the alligators never, crocodiles. The crocodiles never ate the birds, never. You know? And you see the tick birds on the back of water buffalo, and there's so many interdependent relationships in the natural world. Nothing exists by itself. Look inside the human body, for heaven's sakes. Your body's based on systems that are all give and take, right? You do this. Right? Also, you Later today, you're going to have lunch and you're going to assimilate. And at some point in the following 24 hours, we hope, you're going to dissimilate. Yeah. Write that on a bathroom wall. And then you have your circulatory system, which is taking the oxygen. Remember we said that we breathe? Your circulatory system, pay attention everybody, your circulatory system takes the oxygen and the food and brings it to the extremities in every cell, and then it brings back the waste and gas. And then you have your nervous system, which there are two sets. There's a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system. You have your muscles, which work in pairs. One contracts, the other relaxes for you to accomplish most of your actions. And you have a set of voluntary muscles and a set of involuntary muscles. And you can go on and on and on. Why do you have two eyes instead of one? Because you'd look really strange with one. No, that's not. No, the fact is that two different points, seeing something and comparing in the brain, allow you to perceive depth perception. If you covered one eye, those of you sitting in the back, you'll recognize this, and you look, and then you take your hand away, it's like you suddenly got 3 dimensions. Right? Why do you have 2 ears instead of one? Because if you had only one ear, you would know the distance of a sound, but not exactly where it's coming from. But 2 different eardrums get 2 different, slightly different vibrations, and right away in your brain, in a split second, a big noise comes and you go. Right? There are a million give and take relationships going on every second inside your body, all the time. It's fascinating, but it's based on this fundamental principle of the universe. You are the microcosm of the universe. It's all in you. Why do you have 2 sets of teeth? Some of us. Obvious. I used to make a joke. I used to say, why do you have 2 nostrils? And I would say, I have no idea. But did you know that when you sleep at night and you sleep on your left side, your right nostril is dominant and it feeds the left side of your brain? And when you sleep on the other side, each nostril is serving the opposite side of the brain. And it's important to have both. So, you see, nothing is by chance or accident. Nothing is by chance. You're very well thought out. Think about how well thought out your face is, for example. What if your nose was the other way around? Every time it rained, think of all the trouble you'd have. Yeah? Look at the natural gutter system that you have. The rain falls here, and when you don't have anything to stop it, like me, then it comes down and you've got a little gutter here. It goes this way or it goes this way. It goes around here. It goes around it. Yeah. Now guess what? We all have exactly the same 1, 2, 3, 4, the same elements in our face, but everyone looks so unique. Infinite possibilities. This is the beauty of the natural world, the beauty of the creation that reflects God. And in human society, remember our point is give and take here. You have parent and child as a fundamental relationship. Brother and sister, husband and wife, teacher and student, leader and people. Any good, productive business is not one where the boss is squeezing the workers for every last bit of work and abusing them. And then the workers are unionizing and fighting and challenging and demonstrating. But the most successful business environments now are those that create a good, healthy environment, that think about the mind and heart and productivity of the employees that work together. A successful sports team is the same. Women's U.S. soccer team there. And of course we have our amazing relationship with the environment around us. So nothing lives by itself. So our second conclusion is that give and take is essential for all life. The universe is designed to be interdependent. Right? Our third point is the 4-position foundation. If we agree that within the nature of the first cause, ultimate reality is the essence of masculinity and femininity, the essence of character and form, yet when that nature is expressed in life from the one ultimate reality is not 2, God is not 2, we're talking about one ultimate reality. But whenever that nature is expressed in life, it's always in 2 parts. there's always a divided subject and object. There's always a masculine and feminine, a positive and a negative. There's always subject and object. Now, because these two are the expressions of one origin, what's their natural tendency? To seek each other, to enter into a relationship. That happens in every species, in every being. It's consistent. And through their relationship, they not only generate energy, they produce new life. And that new life is something greater than either one of them individually. Or they produce a higher unity, a higher development of life, or a new being. This is a consistent principle. You see the four positions? The origin, the subject, the object, and the higher state of unity or the new being. This is what we're talking about with four-position foundation. So the foundation for a healthy, harmonious, capable, aware individual is the unity between our inner self, our mind, and our body, centered on our cause, centered on the higher purpose, the greater good, centered on love and beauty and truth and goodness. And that will be a person of harmony, a person of conscience, a person who's productive. This is one expression of the four-position foundation. How it's expressed in the individual. It's also expressed in the relationship between man and woman, who bring about through their union a new being, who's the embodiment of both of them and has a potential greater than both of them. Also, when human beings relate to our environment and nature, productivity, creativity, art, science, development, technology, service, there's so many things that develop when we centered on a purpose greater than ourselves, the benefit of the community, the benefit of humanity. When we're thinking about the greater good, we can accomplish great things. And in the entire universe, every single form of life strives to realize this. Every proton and electron, every animal, every species is striving to realize this consistent foundation. So the four-position foundation is the basis for all life, for all beings to fulfill their purpose, to realize their potential. Then let's apply it to human life. Is everyone still with me? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this, ask for questions, and then conclude with the purpose of life, okay? We're doing really well on time, by the way. So, I'm shocked myself. I almost feel like I should make up something to get back to my normal over-talking. So. Let's talk about how the four-position foundation is manifest in human experience. What does the four-position foundation refer to in human life? It's not just a family, but a God-centered family. A family where it's not just two people coming together to make each other happy or to make themselves happy, but they're connecting to contribute to something greater than themselves. I forget who it was who said that the truest and best relationships are not just two people, certainly not people that are looking what I can get from the other person. I forget who it was who said that it's the truest relationships are not just, it might have been Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince. It's not just when two people are looking into each other's eyes, but when they stand side by side and look forward together and share a common goal and a common vision. There's something much deeper and more strong to the relationship. So when we're talking about the four-position foundation, we're talking about a man and a woman in harmony, centered on something bigger than themselves. Their children, their descendants, their community, the world, giving joy to God, all of these things. Right? That takes the relationships into another dimension. Do you want to know what the biggest divide in this country is today? What do you think it is? The biggest division in our culture today. You're going to be surprised by the statistical result. The biggest divide in our culture today is between what groups? Churches. Somebody will say religion. It's a very obvious one. It's not the one. Somebody will say political, right? Democrats and Republicans. Somebody will say rich and poor. It's the rich and poor because the great division of wealth. No, do you know the number one division is in the culture, is between people who have children and people who don't. What they want in their restaurants, what they want on airplanes, what they're expecting, whether they have the consciousness of family or whether it's about their own. And I'm not accusing those who don't have children. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying there's a whole different mentality to family. And I'm not trying to call into question anyone's choices. But the scripture says, God created man in his own image, male and female. And again, in human life, when you have a man and woman entering into harmony, centered on the greater good, bringing about new life, this is that four-position foundation, or that family. And that family is a universal value. You know, Freud and many other psychologists and anthropologists tried to prove that the family, the nuclear family, was not a universal. That different societies did it differently. That this was just a Judeo-Christian concept. But after years of research, even sociologists now recognize that every civilization that made a difference, that produced a great art or culture, or impacted the world, or great religious ideas, or became military strong and dominated, all of them had the nuclear family, some form of the nuclear family at their heart. Jesus put it more simply. He said, haven't you read that he who made them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this reason, here's the reason he made them male and female, that the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. And what God has joined together, let not man put asunder. Let's analyze that for a second. The reason we're made male and female, this is not a negative statement against anyone's lifestyle or choice, etc., but says the reason that we are in balance and in harmony, like the rest of the natural world, is that the two should become not just one, but one flesh. What? How can two bodies of flesh become one body of flesh? How is that even possible? It's only through children. So Jesus was teaching love, life, and lineage. The union of man and woman, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually, is the highest expression of love between two people. It's also the basis of creating life, and it also connects our love to the next generations, or lineage, and makes our love lasting and eternal. It's the holiest thing. And sexuality is the holiest aspect of our human experience. Quite different than the way it's looked at in the world, and the way people hide and struggle and feel guilty. And also, it's meant to be permanent. What God has joined together, let not man put asunder. When Jesus said that, his audience immediately said, wait a minute, whoa, Jesus. Moses said that divorce was okay. And I'm not giving you a prescription against divorce. No one can be compelled by law, right, to make a relationship work. But when they said, wait a minute, why did Moses allow divorce? Do you know what Jesus answered? He said, for your hardness of heart, Moses allowed divorce, but from the beginning it was not so. What does that mean? Divorce comes about because your hearts are hard. Your natures are immature. Your desires are selfish. We make relationships for the wrong reasons. We're confused and immature and difficult, and we carry wounds into our relationships. But it was never intended to be that way. From the beginning, love is meant to last. Does that make sense? Yeah. I hope nobody hears in that from me any criticism or condemnation of the struggles that we faced in our life or the mistakes that we've made. We've all made them. But understanding what God's original ideal is. So the family, in the principle, in the teaching of the principle, the family is the school of love. God is a God of love. And for us to come to know God, we need to come to know love. How do we know love? It's through the family experience. Let me illustrate that for you. I want you to imagine what it would be like if every single child were born and raised in the experience of unconditional love. Unconditional means you don't have to do anything to earn it. I don't love you because you're good or bad. I love you because you came from me. I love you because you are. What if every child had that experience of protection and support and self-identity and self-worth and value?